Oh, hello hyperspace! My name is Davontos and it's time to get hyped because in this video we're actually going to talk about the Uprising skins, and there's actually a big detail on all of these Uprising skins that I'm pretty sure not a lot of people really noticed, and I actually want to bring it up because it just shows how much work and effort Blizzard puts into these skins to make it fit into the Overwatch lore, story, and everything that just speaks Overwatch. So let's get into this and see what this hidden detail in the Uprising skins really is. Okay, so right off the bat, we're actually starting at Tracer. That's right, the face of Overwatch. Now, when you look at this Tracer skin, what's the first thing you notice? Well, one, that she's dressed in blue, and you see that she's armored. Now, other than the current Tracer not being as armored, if you actually look at the technology she's using, it doesn't actually look as advanced as the current Tracers. Let's use her Chrono Accelerator, that thing on her chest. If you actually look at the thing on her chest, let me zoom in right there, it looks like a big generator, some kind of engine. You know, it has a lot of gizmos on it, it has those little gates on the side where steam pops up, and who knows, it looks very old-fashioned, very clunky, and it doesn't look as advanced as the current Tracer. Now, here's the current Tracer that's in the cover of Overwatch. Now here's back to Uprising's old Tracer, not old Tracer, just like, you know, an earlier version of Tracer. Now, other than her never seeming to age, it actually seems like her technology has been updated. And you can actually look at the guns too. Here's Uprising's guns, and now here's current Tracer's weaponry. You actually see that the guns have a more sleek, more futuristic appearance, while the Uprising weapons look more like your typical handgun, or maybe your typical machine pistol, aside from the barrel having that little grip that attaches to the magazine. But just the design of the weapon in general, you see that the Uprising weaponry is more outdated, and then the current weaponry, well, at least current in Overwatch's time, it has a more futuristic look to it, and I think that's really, really interesting. And it's actually not only with Tracer. Here's some of the other characters. Right here we have robotic Genji, and well, kind of like human cyborg Genji. And you see here, he's kind of going into the transformation from human into cyborg. And you see he's not as armored. You see he kind of has his robot feet at the bottom. You see that his right arm, well, his right arm from his right, the one that's full robotic. You see that his robotic arm doesn't really have all the armor, and it doesn't look as robotic. You still see some of like the, I guess you could call it, cybernetic muscles kind of exposed. And then for his other humanoid arm, you can see that that one has, you know, still all the scars and all the battle scars from his duel with his brother. And then even from the back, look at the back right over here. And right here on the back, you can see a lot of wires, a lot of cables, and from his lower back and his butt, it kind of looks like he has some cybernetic tissue, and trying to, you know, keep his whole body in one piece, as Hanzo must have did a number on him. But, I mean, you can actually see it compared to the current Genji, which is right here. This current Genji is, you know, all armored, he looks very sleek, he looks very futuristic, so you can actually see the change that Genji had. Even so, the armor, you know, this old armor is all dirty, and then you look at the cybernetic future Genji, and he's like more sleek, more polished, he looks more metallic, and it's just a really, really interesting change that they did. Now, actually, I want to talk about McCree. Look at McCree right here. This is the old McCree from Uprising. If you actually notice, he still has his human arm, and his human arm is going to be to your right. And if you actually go to future McCree, he has a robotic arm. So something happened that he lost his arm. We don't know what it is. At least I don't know what it is. If you guys know what it is, let me know in the comment section below. But you see that the Outlast, you see that the Uprising McCree, he looks more like, I don't know, he looks more dark, more evil. And that was because he was working for Blackwatch, and Blackwatch, well, was, I guess you can say, more of the covert ops kind of evil corporation to Overwatch. I'm not too sure on the lore, but for whatever reason, Blackwatch McCree looks kind of evil. And then if you go to current McCree, he looks more like an outsider, more like an outcast, an outlaw. He just looks like he's wandering the world, he's gotten dirty. Well, you see he aged quite a bit, and it's just, again, a really, really interesting change that they've done to these Overwatch characters. So next I want to cover Torbjorn. Now, nothing really changed much on him. I mean, he got a tattoo on his arm. If you see this arm and you compare it to the current Torbjorn, he got a tattoo of some gears. And you see that his claw has changed size. Now, as most things tend to do as time passes, technology tends to become smaller and sleeker, which makes sense. The old school Torbjorn has a big, bulky claw, and then the new school Torbjorn, or current Torbjorn, he has, well, a slender, more advanced claw. And if you also notice, Torbjorn has really let himself go. And next, let's actually talk about Mercy. Now this is the old school Mercy. She hasn't really changed much. I mean, other than the uniform, but I kind of think the current Mercy, which is this one right here, she looks like she's, well, she's working with a lot of technology, I can say that, because if you actually compare both the current Mercy with the old school Mercy, current Mercy seems like she has a lot of technology on her compared to the old school Mercy. You can tell by looking at the wings. Now, here is something really, really interesting. Soldier 76, Jack Morrison. So this is the young Soldier 76, Jack Morrison. He was actually the commander of Overwatch, and being the commander, he has access to all this technology, which is why he kind of looks like Batman. So he has all this technology. If you look at his gun right here, his gun looks insane. It's armored, it's bulky, it's big. It looks like a gun you don't want to mess with. And if you compare this weapon to his current weapon kind of doesn't look as great. It looks like your standard firearm. And the reason for this, he lost all this technology, is because after Overwatch was destroyed, 76 kind of went on and did his own thing, kind of being this anonymous superhero. I guess you can kind of follow the Batman lore with that. And even if you actually look at Soldier himself, you know, as the years came by and he got older, he left, well, Overwatch was destroyed. When he was out doing his own thing, you know, being his own Batman, you see he doesn't have all this technology, aside from the mask. But if I look at his outfit, he doesn't have all the armor. He's just wearing your typical leather jacket and just some regular pants. And if you look at back to the old school Jack Morrison, I cannot talk today. If you look at the old school Jack Morrison, he looks armored, ready for war, while Soldier 76 does not. Now here's where it gets really, really interesting. You can actually see how technology advanced in the Overwatch world as time went by. Now I'm going to cover the OR-14s, the OR-15s, and Orisa. So here we have the OR-14s, the very first model of the OR series, I guess you can call it. So you see it's very big, very bulky. You can kind of see a little bit of the endoskeleton sticking out between the armor. And not only does it look like it's ready for war, because this was taking place during the Omnic Crisis, but it just looks like an old-fashioned, big, bulky robot that you see like in the 90s and 80s cartoons. And if you actually come over here to the OR-15s, which is the next model, you don't see that endoskeleton anymore. It looks very sleek, it looks more futuristic, and it just seems like a robot that we would see in video games nowadays, aside from the, you know, colors, because most video games nowadays are dark, but aside from the colors, the model just looks like a robot we would see in today's movies like Transformers or Power Rangers or something. And then finally, if we go to Orisa, Orisa herself looks bulky, like the OR-14s, but it's more like a sleek, well-armored bulkiness that the OR-14s didn't have. And if you actually compare all of these OR models from OR-14, OR-15, and Orisa, you can actually see how technology advanced in the Overwatch universe. And I think all of this is really, really interesting. So if you like this video, punch that like button with a mighty force. You can follow me up on Twitter at DavontosMan. And as always, I'll see all of you in the next video. Have a nice day.